Welcome to Increase, where it is my task to increase, illustrate, and inundate you with information, knowledge, and overall help cause you to think. And I'm your host, Alpheus Gibbs Sr. What's up, everybody? This is Increase. I am your host, Alpheus Gibbs, and I'm elated to have you guys join me today. This is episode 20, and we are going to have a little bit of fun today. I am just admiring the beauty of the day. It's not too cold. I mean, it's just brisk. I'm loving the clear skies. It's just an amazing day today. And despite how you may feel or whatever is going on in your life, I want you to begin to look out around you and just begin to celebrate the fact of you just being who you are, being where you are. And more importantly than anything else, just be excited about the fact that you're alive and well and that you have your being. You know, that's such an underrated not only emotion but expression. So just look out among your day, look out among that's what's around you, and just begin to celebrate being. So let us just celebrate that. Let's just be excited about, just having another opportunity, another day to do what you didn't do yesterday, or crush and bring about your goals that you didn't get a chance to do yesterday, last week, whatever the case may be. So today, I really just wanted to kind of talk about a thing and talk about a particular subject that plagues many of us. Um, for the past few months now, I've been hit with the exact question, as well as it's like a question statement. And that's really, the statement is really, Alpheus, it was just sent to me, Alpheus, you really need to just get singular focus, get really laser focused on what it is that you desire to have, do. And I'm a person who likes to do multiple things at the same time or around the same time. Whether it's I'm reading one or two books at the same time, read one, put it down, pick up another, read it, put it down, go back to the other book. Whether it's I'm cleaning in a room or something to that effect, and I'm working in one room and then leave there and go somewhere else. It's like I'm always moving around. I'm doing what feels right for me, what feels comfortable for me. And in the midst of all of that, The arousing question then comes, do you know what you want? When we look at that, even in a relationship, you ask the question, do you know what you want? What do you want in this relationship? What do you want out of a person? Whether it's intimate or whether it's a friendship. You go on a job and you do the interview and they ask you, um, what salary are you looking to receive? Like, what is it? What compensation, whatever. They ask that question around finances, though. They ask the question around benefits, especially when you begin to get in upper management, when you begin to have degrees behind your name that is respective to where you are. Even in business, they ask you, what is it that you want? What is it that you're trying to accomplish? And that's really my single question I want to ask you today. What is it? What do you want? Because when you find out what it is that you want, it makes going after it that much easier. It makes no sense to have a desire for a thing and not really go after it. But it's something else when you are really laser focused on it. Again, what's your guilty obsession? Where is your focus? Where's your attention going? God, I think I had this nasal drip. Um, and so today I just want to ask that one question. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want out of your business? What do you want out of yourself? What do you want out of the relationships that you're in? What do you want out of life? That is the single thing that really separate us from others. As gifted and as talented as you are, as many others are, it really boils down to, what is it that you want? Do you know what you want? Have you really sat down, got a sheet of paper, and said, I'm interested in all of these things. I'm interested in them. Okay, out of all the things that I'm interested in, what out of this list can I say I excel in? I have a skill set that I could really perform this already, automatically. I have that skill set to make this happen. Okay, out of that list of these skills that I have in this, that I can bring to pass, okay, what can I do consistently out of this list? Okay, next list. All right, by now you should probably be at about between 1 and 3 items. Out of these 1 to 3, I've narrowed it down. I can be consistent in 1 to 3 of these areas. Now, out of these 1 to 3 things, what is my passion really? And when I say passion, when I say what is it really, what I'm really saying to you is this: what feels natural? What is the one thing that you find yourself answering all the time? What do you find yourself working in all the time? Because you may be able to be consistent in it, you may have the skill set, all of those things. But when you look at it, because you can do a thing for a lot of years, but when you get down to it, this is something I find myself always doing. No matter where I am, no matter who I'm talking to, people catch me on the spot or I'm known for this. What is that? And then from there, you have your one thing you need to really focus on. But the problem a lot of times people get is they don't know what they want. They don't know what they want to eat. They don't know what they want out of themselves. They don't know what they want out of life. They don't know what they want out of friendships. They don't know. And so you go into a business and you start it and all of that, and you're like, okay, I'm bored. I can do it because it's repetitive, but I'm not having fun with it. I haven't found my groove into it. And so I'm just doing something. I want to share something with you who are looking at becoming an entrepreneur. You're either working or you're not working, and you're like, I don't know what to do, but I know I want to do something. Here's something I want to share with you. Before you spend your money to go get an LLC or you go and to your local office, government office, and you get a DBA, doing business as. How about just doing it and seeing if you're going to make money off it? Seeing if it's something that you're going to have fun with, seeing if it's going to actually be marketable in the marketplace. Because a lot of times people go and they spend the money, get the LLC, and then they get the business accounts, the bank accounts, and then they do all of these things, and then they find out after having spent all of that money, I have no money for supplies, I have no money for marketing. I don't know the market. I don't know what the marketplace is really charging for what I want to do. You have no idea of the state laws that govern what area you want to work in. And so now you are frustrated because you had an idea of what you wanted to do, but you really didn't know what you wanted. And so those two things are very key in life that you need to know. And these can be applied to anything, whether it's marriage, whether it's going back to school, so many other areas. And so I wanted to take this broadcast and go, do you know what you want? Have you really sat down and counted the costs? Have you really looked at it and go, all right, I want to do this. Okay, how much is it going to cost for me to produce it? How much is it going to cost for me to ship it? How much is it going to cost me in quarterly taxes? What is it going to cost me in supplies? Do I have more than one supplier? Okay, am I going to do international shipping? What does international law state about me doing international business? How does the market, what is the marketplace doing right now concerning this niche that I'm in? It's so much into it that you really need to look into before you ever spend your money to get an LLC, before you go and get a DUNS number, a DBA, or you go and get your EIN number, well before you start getting credit cards in your business name, well before you start literally telling people this is what I'm doing, and you bought a website, and now you got an email address, and then because you're working from home, and you watch the Instagram reels, and they tell you, well, one of the reasons why you're not getting a business loan is because you're using your house address instead of you getting a virtual address. And so now you spending the $30 a month so that you can get a virtual address. And so you also saw in the clip where they told you that, don't use your personal cell phone number, but now, so go and get a virtual number, which they have an app, and so it's going to ring differently on your cell phone. So you spend the $20 for it, and now you've done all of this and you haven't produced any kind of product. And so when it's time for you to start working in it, you're frustrated, and so your frustration has killed your creativity and has killed the momentum that you started with, and now you're in debt and you haven't even produced anything. You haven't manufactured anything. You haven't consulted, to bring in revenue. You haven't started, traveling to do your speech and to share, your passion and your story with anyone. Some of the greatest things that you can do right now is for free, or it takes little money. Whether you want to do something in fashion, whether you want to do something in manufacturing, you know, your local junkyard can be some of the greatest places of resources. Your local colleges, wherein they manufacture, they have uh, a place where they build and construct, or engineering. They have engineering schools. Can be some of the greatest places where you can go and pay little to no money to have them to engineer a machine for you, and you use it in your backyard, or you rent a little space at a storage facility, and you begin to produce from right there, and really get in the grind of things. Begin to do your research online, because again, you really need to know what you want. It's work to get your name out there. It's work to get clients and to get people to buy. And I shared with some on a live, some of the things that one of the reasons why we don't really even we fail in business is because we don't know our target audience. So you're trying to get your name out there to everybody when your real target audience is a small group of people that it can grow and others can purchase from you. But there's a specific group of people that you should be aiming for, that you should be going after, even as a leader, even as a person, whether it's leadership on your job or whether it's leadership in church or wherever. You have an audience and you really need to know that. A lot of people want to be famous. I want to be wealthy and unknown. I want my work to speak for itself, but I would rather be wealthy and be able to go in Walmart and go into Target and go places, and people don't know or judge me differently or look at me differently because they see my name on the Forbes list and they got my picture and all of this stuff. I'd rather be like an unknown wealthy person. But you need to know what it is that you want, and you really got to sit down and do your homework, do your due diligence into it. Have you prepared your family for you going back to school? Have you prepared your family for you being an entrepreneur? Have you prepared your family to have to deal with criticism of your product? Like, have you prepared them for to being on social media, that now your social media is no longer just your personal, but now it's business. And so everybody can't take pictures of you or have that great access that they used to have because as your product begins to grow and as your business begin to grow, your brand begins to grow, you now have to start worrying about NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, and now you need to really focus on, okay, well, who am I hanging around? Like, do they have a criminal record? Because now the way social media goes, by you just being in a picture with people, certain people, they'll start associating you with their activity that they do on their personal. And so now you're starting to get linked in with things that have nothing to do with you. um we live in a time now of cancel culture, so you have to be careful of the things that you promote and the things that you state that you believe. I honestly believe you can share whatever you want, but just understand that there are ramifications behind everything that you do. There is more to life and is more to what's going on than just saying this is what I want, and if they don't like it, then so on and so forth. But you got to understand that everything that you're doing, you're building a brand. Whether you represent your church, whether you represent your business, you also represent the relationship that you're in. What you do affects your children because they got to go to school, and they have to deal with it on a public level. Some of you have children who play online gaming. And so it's easy to find out what a person's real name is, where they live, without the child even saying anything. And so, we really have to be careful and understand that you got to do some background work on the things that you want. And I'm not saying this to discourage anybody, but I really want to put it out there because we're finding and we're starting to see where suicide is going up because people really didn't even think you wouldn't even think that such small children could be so hateful that it would cause our babies to want to commit suicide. Or you never would think in a million years that um, some of the things that your parents would do years ago or whatever would still be on the internet, and so it went viral, or someone uses a snippet of it in their video, and so now you've gone back viral again off of foolishness, and everything that you worked for has begun to crumble. And so that's why I make the statement earlier, is that I don't think a lot of times we really think about it, and so we get mad at our friends because they stop being so friendly. um they kind of backed away because what you're doing and what you have going on really starts to affect them in a negative light, or it may be overshadowing, and they don't know how to handle that. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times, even our family, we look at them strangely because they don't support you, but it could be that they see how big your brand is going to be, and it's intimidating, or it's scary because you're starting to see artists and creatives being targets for so much. You got to look at you have to look at every post that you make as if it's going to go viral. You have to look at every video as if you're going to now have to defend it on CNN or MSNBC or something to that effect. We really minimize what we produce out into the world. And one of the things that is so important is your intellectual content, your intellectual property. And so people are always trying to steal your ideas. People are going to always try to steal your designs. People are going to always try to smear your name. But we don't really think about, have I prepared the people around me for what I want? Is that even something that they even want to be a part of? Like, look at it like this. When you look at like the Real Housewives of Atlanta or Los Angeles or New York or whatever, and really look at it, like some of their family, they're like, I don't want my kid to be on there, because the negative stereotype of those reality shows. And so because they see you on a reality show, whether it's just a cameo or you're a part of the cast, they start looking at that and going, okay, well, this is a part of your brand. And so when you act out of character, then or you start acting weird, then they're like, okay, well, this is just who you are. And certain people, certain brands, certain companies don't even want to, deal with you or be associated with you because of that. And so right now you may think that you're small, or you may have this great idea, or you may even be at this place where you purchased the LLC and you've done all of that stuff, and right now you're like, oh man, I'm kind of in a stuck place. I'm kind of frozen right now, and I'm not getting the movement like I think I need to. I've kind of plateaued, but I want to encourage you that that's only temporary. Anything can change in a blink of an eye, and you never know who is watching your page, who is looking at your videos, people who have secretly gone to your restaurant and have eaten, or they have gotten your service. Again, and I say, and I reference this because I cherish the brand, and I appreciate it. Mobillionaires, when I did a video, I haven't posted it yet, but the experience of opening the bag and pulling out the content, the shirt and the hat, and I wasn't even really paying attention, and it was a card and it was a bracelet that I'm even wearing now that says "No pain, no gain," and so I pull it out and I put it on, and instead of me doing the typical, oh, this is nice, okay, I like the print on it, I was like, man, this cotton shirt is really soft, like, oh, it's really stretchy, it's breathy, and then I walk outside with it on, and I'm like, okay, it's really comfortable to move. It's not too short. It's not too long. It's you start looking at that, because why? Because brands look at that kind of stuff. People who are secret shoppers, they look at that. They're looking for that experience. And so whether you're in leadership or whether you're an entrepreneur, people are looking at the experience. What is their experience with you? And that experience comes with, how much time have you taken to go, this is what I want? When people get my service or my product, I want them to be wowed from the moment they pull it out of their mailbox, or UPS or FedEx ships it. I want them to be just blown away by what they see. I want them to experience how I want to experience opening up something that I've ordered, or the service. I want them to be wowed by my staff, their friendliness, their ability to answer questions, their knowledge of the service that we provide, and making sure that they don't say, well, we can't do this, but they're so trained, and they're so genuine that they try to bring about whatever the client may need. That kind of an experience happens, and is planned out before you spend an ounce of money. You know, who when you're putting your product on models, like, does the model have the frame that fits your demographic. I never forget. I was looking at a Lane Bryant ad, and when I was looking at it, I was like, the woman, she's a plus size, but she didn't look like the average plus size woman, especially the plus size women that I know. She had on these girdles, and they had the tape and all of this stuff, and then they still did the photoshopping and all of that. But I started looking at it and I go, but this is sending out a false message. And so you start talking to people who purchase from them and they go, well, their product quality is starting to go down, and they're really more expensive and the product isn't getting better. And so those are the kind of conversations that people are having about products. Or you look at various organizations. You can look at Chick-fil-A, for instance. The food is okay, but it's the customer service that stands out, especially when you compare it to a Burger King, or you compare it to a McDonald's, or you compare it to like a Jack in the Box or other places. You start looking at, wow, they really do stand out. They're able to handle a mass amount of people. Your food comes out hot. It's not like the food is over the top. It's consistent, but the customer service is impeccable. And so my question to you, as you are listening to me and you're watching this, is that, do you know what you want? When you go to college, when you go back to school, you know, do you know what major that you really want to do, and what do you want to do with that degree? Or are you just going to go to school and, and hope that something takes place? You may be a great student, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be great at whatever degree you're trying to go after. You want to definitely make sure that you're maximizing every moment that you have, and that you're doing everything possible so that you're not wasting resources or your time, because your time is your greatest resource next to your mind. And I find that so many overlook these various things, even when it comes to credit. And I'll speak to this to those of you who are, right now you're a business owner, or you're looking to do things. Yes, your personal credit does play a role in it, and there are ways that you can get around using your personal credit. But what I want to say to you is that when it comes to anything that's on your credit, dispute it, and make them prove it. And especially if it's gone to collections and it's been over, 2 or 3 years, or you've moved, or your last name has changed, definitely dispute it. Dispute everything. You may have received the product, service, or whatever. Dispute it. Why? Because when it goes to collection, it's no longer your debt. It's now been sold off to a different company, and the company that you had the original debt with, they've now written it off on their taxes. They've now counted it as a loss. And so now you're trying to pay back something that is still not going to change your credit report. It's not going to change your credit score. But what you really need is just the history from it. So just dispute it. Make them prove it. How does you, the collection agency, have a now contract with me? Because you don't. I didn't sign anything. I didn't verbally give you my consent or my connection to it. As a matter of fact, that's why when people call you and they say, well, is this so and so? May I ask who's calling? Well, we are debt collector, blah, 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 blah. Send it to me in the mail. Write it to me. Because many of you don't know that if I'm not mistaken, 40 states now have laws on the books that state that even though they may send it to you in the mail, that it does not belong to you, because the debt has been wiped off. Did you know that now debt collectors can use your social media? They can contact you through text message, through various other means, and get your consent to that particular debt. So you have to be very careful and knowledgeable about that. And so you want to make sure that you're doing everything possible so that you can build your credit, so that your credit can be solid and stable, so that you can do whatever you want to do. A lot of times when they ask for your personal credit so that you can build business credit, is they just actually just want to see the number. And That's really it. And it's a soft pull. Your hard pull credit pulls are going to be from some of your major businesses. Like if you're trying to get something from John Deere, or you're trying to get a Mercedes or something to that effect, they'll do a hard pull, especially if your business is young. The moment your business turns over 2 years, and you've had 2 years worth of banking transactions, you're really considered, kind of established, and they won't pull your personal credit. Another thing that many of you don't know when it comes to business is that people don't look at your business as having been started or established until you have a bank account that has transactions in it. So you may get the LLC, and you may have your DBA, you're doing business as, and you may have the bank account, but if there's no transaction, there's no money going in and no money going out, it looks as if you're just doing personal transactions. When you start doing that, then you start showing that you are a legit business. And this is all important because you need to know what you want. You got to start somewhere and then build from there. And the moment you know what it is that you want is the moment then that your vision becomes clear to those around you. And you can begin to seek out not only monies to bring to pass what you want, but you can also seek out places that you can begin to expand your business, and individuals who will want to patronize your business, or want to partner with you. I just want to kind of give you guys some value and let you know that you really need to know what you want, because when you are looking, especially for investors and stuff, they want to make sure that your elevator pitch, that 5 seconds or whatever, your minute pitch, is that you are putting out everything that needs to be put out, and that you are crystal clear about what you want and how you're going to get there. You only have one time to make a first impression, and you want to make it last, and you want to make it memorable. You want them to forever associate your brand and your name with excellence, with integrity, with um, genuineness. You want it to be solidified, whatever it is that you do, however it is that you do it. You say that this is what you're putting out there. Make sure that you're consistent with it. But you won't know that until you know what you want and be honest about it. You may start out right now, you may be saying, yo, Al, man, I'm just in it for the money. Okay, be clear about that. You're here just to make money. You really don't have really have a great desire as far as the product is concerned, or the service. You do it to the best of your ability. You make sure everything is good, but this is really a moneymaker for you. That's it. And people respect that. But those who really want to put their heart and passion into a thing, it's going to show. And you want to make sure that you're crystal clear when you're talking to people, when you're talking to yourself, when you're having to remind yourself of your why. You like, listen, I'm doing my why is because this is what I was created to do. I love it. This is, I find myself, thinking about it. I dream about it. This is my calling. This is what I'm supposed to do in the world. I'm supposed to spread my message, spread my information, whatever. And this is what I want to do. This is who I am. And you'll begin to find that everything that you so want will begin to come to pass, begin to come to you. It begins to be attracted to you. And the better at mastering your emotion, the better you are at mastering your why, because your why and your want is going to evolve over time. It's going to morph into greaterness. It's going to morph into other areas. You know, right now people are saying, well, everything is going to AI and automation and all of this stuff. And I want to tell you that, listen, somebody's got to be the mechanic to these machines and to these computers and to these systems. Somebody has to architect it. Somebody got to be able to take it to the next level. Why not it be you? Why not be that? Why not be that person? You may want to own a business, but your 9 to 5 is good. Be an entrepreneur where you still working 9 to 5, but your side business is contracted by your 9 to 5. It's all in how you look at it, and it's all in being honest about what you want, knowing what you want, and going after it every step of the way, making critical but making purposeful moves toward what you want. It's really saying to yourself, the sky is not the limit. The sky is but the floor. I'm not in a box because I refuse to let myself create a box. I'm not in a box. The sky is not my limit. There's nothing that's holding me back other than me getting laser focused on what I want and getting there and doing it and crushing it and making critical steps to getting there. You know, really just dialing in and making it happen because people are doing it every single day. I watched this guy who's a motivational speaker. He has no arms and no legs. And I mean, he's like, oh, I don't need any help going up the steps. And he hobbles or whatever, however he moves up the steps. And he gives his presentation about, how he was born, a certain way and everything. And I'm like, wow. And then you do the backstory and you find out he's founded companies and, everything else. And so he began to outsource his limitations. He began to outsource the very thing that he could not do because of his physicality, but he's out here crushing it every day. And I just want to encourage you that no matter what you're going through, no matter where you are, no matter if it's raining outside, snowing outside, whether things are going wrong in your life and you may feel like you're abandoned by friends and family, just understand once you figure out what you want in life, and you begin to go after it, everything will begin to auto correct itself. And sometimes in our lives, the people who seem like they fall away from us or walk away or turn their backs on us, it's because they're not supposed to be there at that moment. And even if they don't ever come back, then that just lets you know that the time that you had, cherish that moment, cherish those times, but you have more people that you're going to encounter. You have more people that you're going to reach. There's more people that you're going to speak to. There's more people that you're supposed to encounter. And so don't limit yourself based upon what others are not doing or who is not there or what you feel like you don't have, but just begin to work what you can and you'll begin to find solutions and begin to bring to pass everything that you want. I believe that right now is the best time in your life to sit down and begin to create. Sit down and begin to write out your vision and get very crystal clear about it. Don't just go, I want to, start doing drop shipping. Okay, what do you want to drop ship? How do you want to drop ship? Where do you want to get your supplies from? You know, all of that. I mean, where do you want to market it? Really get down to the nitty gritty before you spend one penny. Before you do anything, make sure that you've done your due diligence. Make sure you know what you want. That's my time. I want you to know you have Michael Jordan like talent. You're able to do everything that comes to your mind. Don't worry about what you've done in the past, what hasn't acted right, what hasn't happened. All you can do is move forward and crush it every day. Enjoy this beautiful weather that we are having. Enjoy the life that you live. Celebrate your wins. Learn from your losses. And always remember that just because you had to take a step back, at least you are moving. This is Increase, and I'm glad that you guys joined me today. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening.